Okay. Are there absolute right and wrongs?
Yes.
Do they ever conflict?
Yeah.
If you must break a law in order to keep a law, is that a sin?
No, not always.
Do you believe that there are absolute right and wrongs? No. Okay. Is there any such thing as right and wrong at all?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay, thank you. Is there absolute right and wrongs?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Do they ever conflict?
To the limits at which they're beneficial or to the limit of love, I'd say.
To the limit of love?
Yes, like intention, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Like what's the effect of what you're doing, you know what I mean?
What brings the most good to the most people kind of thing, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think about an example. You know, just like if you, let me put it this way, if the consequence for doing right was a lot of suffrage, then you have something that you have to, there's a paradox or a dilemma you have to reconcile somehow.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at that point, you know, you have to go before God at that point and explain why did you cause those people that suffering, you know?
Yeah.
So there's kind of a there's
Kind of
gonna-
a,
yeah,
like
yeah.
this,
It's like a balance,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hi, what's your name?
I'm Sam.
Hi, Sam. Where do you work?
I work at Noodles and Boba-Tios is a Vietnamese restaurant.
Can I ask you this question?
Sure.
It's a hard one.
Okay.
Is there absolute rights and wrongs?
Maybe.
Okay, but if you had to choose, would it be yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Do the rights and wrongs conflict?
Without humanity, no.
Without humanity, no? What does that mean?
I don't really know. I think in a perfect world, I think most of our problems are created by us. That's why there are problems. I don't really know what I'm trying to say.
I get it. I'm feeling it. Okay, so if it's a maybe that they conflict, so let's say that they do conflict. If you have to break a law in order to keep a law, would that be considered a sin or wrong?
I think some are greater than others.
So some of them you can break and some of them you can't.
No, but I don't necessarily say it. I don't think it's okay, but I think it can be forgiven depending on circumstances.
Should it be based out of what brings the greatest good for the most people?
Probably.
Probably. Okay, thank you, Sam.
You're welcome.
My name's Tony.
Hi, Tony. Where do you work?
I work at Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Who's your boss?
Okay.
Not you.
Do you believe that there are absolute rights and wrongs?
Yes, I do believe that.
You do believe that. Do you believe that they conflict?
No.
No, you don't?
No.
Okay. So, that's unqualified. So, if they don't ever conflict, where do we get our basis for our moral rights and wrongs?
I think that we get them from growing up and knowing from your own mistakes. Like what you do right, no one should tell you if you're right or wrong. You should know that upon yourself. Like growing up, knowing your mistakes will lead you to bad consequences, and you yourself should know that's wrong. And you kind of
So-
start leading the right way.
Like making a mistake is what teaches us what our right and wrongs are. If it doesn't work out, how do you determine which one's good and which one's bad?
Well, I guess it's once you do something wrong, you'll know it's wrong because people around you start treating you differently, and you start seeing that the path you've taken is giving you nothing but bad consequences.
Okay, thank you, Tony.
Where's my
Are we done? Okay, this is Drew. He works at Starbucks. He's my brother. He could have answered this. Okay, Drew. Is there absolute rights and wrongs?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so do these rights and wrongs ever conflict?
In what way?
Conflicting as in, we're talking about either unqualified absolutism, which means that they never conflict, and so life you just go through, and there could never be two sins that conflict, like lying to save a life or anything of that sort. If there are conflicting things, then we're asking, is it a sin if you break a law to save a life?
Well, with absolute good, I think that's based out of love. Because love is absolute goodness. I mean, it's what we're called to do. It's what we're called to live by. I mean, God has unconditional love for us, and so I'd say that if you base your decisions out of love, then, you know, there's only one person that can judge you on that, and there's not a label or a term or a group that you can be bunched into with that other than just a true believer.
Okay, so if our actions are based out of love, should we base it out of the love for the most people? Like, what would bring the most good for the most people?
That question's always made me angry.
Why?
Because that's a hypothetical situation that realistically no one would be confronted with, and those that are in a tougher situation than I ever hope to be. With a balance of life and death, I mean, I don't think it's our place to condemn anybody to death. It's best to try for both and fail, honestly. Not have to make a choice, but try to get both, and if you fail, then you've done what you can. It's an incredibly unfair situation.
So, but in that situation, we do it out of love, and you're saying that if we fail, it was done in love, so it's...
Then our failure is expected of us. It's what we're born of. We're born of failure. We all fail. We were failures before we were even born. So, but all you can do is base your actions out of love. So,
Thank you.
what would I be labeled